and welcome to the UCI Mountainbike Eliminator World Cup. And after 8 exciting rounds, 2022 rounds of the Mountainbike World Cup have now reached a stage where we're in Paris in France on our penultimate round. This amazing city is playing host to some really exciting races, and we're right underneath, as you can see, the Eiffel Tower here today for the racing. Now, this is a really fast course set here in the Trocadero Gardens, or the Jardin du Trocadero, and our World Cup title race is tied with Gaia Tormena at the top of the standings, challenged by Marion Fromberger, who is not with us today. So now is the chance for Tormena at the top to seal the series standings. It's tighter at the top of the men's standings because both Simon Gegenheimer, Tito and Perrin Gagne, as well as in fact Quinten Schwarzenberger, Felix Klausmann as well, all turning up here in Paris, all taking to the start line. Gegenheimer could keep himself a little bit further clear with a win, but Tito and Perrin Gagne is the man to beat here on home turf, the French champion, looking to take this
for
out.
The 9th round of the UCI Mountainbike Eliminator World Cup.
Before the race starts, we're gonna explain you the track.
So the start of the race, we're just in front of the Eiffel Tower. Really beautiful, straight start, very nice for the riders. And then we enter the garden of the Eiffel Tower, a bit of grass, tarmac, gravel, everything what makes mountain biking special.
And don't forget the climber.
Yes, a really tough climb with some stairs around the corner. Then it is a descent with a big jump.
You have to jump the water, and then we have a really good turn because it's really tight and it's before the final lap.
Then enter the sprint finish together and
really long. You have to save power for that.
So this was the track inspection. I hope you liked it. We like it for sure. It's a nice scenery in front of the Eiffel Tower. So watch the action.
Well, certainly are going to be watching the action. Thank you very much to Simon & Co for our track preview there. It's very close indeed. And in our women's time trial, 16 riders going through into the Eliminator stage. That gives us our riders' numbers on the number board, with Tormena taking top spot. But the two French women of Naomi Garnier and Colleen Clogeot right on her heels. Marcela Lima Matos going to be looking to take away the top spot, move up through the standings. So we have 4 quarterfinals. 2 riders in each heat will go through into our semi-finals. Let's see who is going to lead that out. And out of this, you can see a big French contingent here in Paris, in the capital, looking to take it to the regulars on the circuit. But we have some riders who we know are going to be fast. Watch out for Madison Boissier. Very quickly. Sure is fast. But Tormena is the rider with the pressure on her shoulders. And the weather, as you can see here in Paris, is wet. The fountains running, the cannons there, all pointing and blasting the water out. And it's pretty downpour already, with some dark skies over the start line. Our riders are good to go, and I think the whistle goes. So here we go. Our riders are set off and on the way in towards us. Who is going to take this out? It is going to be very close. They take a tight right-hand start on here and pick up the turn. Jam there on the way through, and that looks like a major problem as they come up that turn and up on to the climb here. So just keeping an eye on this, so we just got to keep an eye on what's happening in this race as they come around those turns here. So Tormena is going to lead them out here, and Tormena just going clear at the front of the race. The gap behind, well, it is very tight between 3rd and 4th place, but our first 2 riders cleared. I think Barecki getting caught up in traffic there on the way through. Didier De Vries and Esther Barecki now behind Leah Hoivet, and Hoivet is just being brought in by Tormena as they come up around here and then taking that left-hand turn down. So let's see who is going to drop it down. And at the moment, certainly it looks to me like we've got a pretty smooth run at the moment for Tormena. Hoivet, though, could be eliminated. De Vries and Barecki. De Vries right in the mix, and we've just seen Tormena going straight clear over that big jump on that descent down and in. She comes around this turn here, He's going to come back down this descent. It comes over. Now got a step up here. And these are pretty tight set steps. You saw them on that preview. Really sandy and dusty. But now come the riders about to take the drop down, take that right-hand turn here in towards the finish. So it's going to be a sprint in towards the finish as they come down and through. Here we go. They come in and a sprint is on here for that second and third qualifying spot as they come down the straight here. It is going to be Tormen who got so close, and De Vries just pipped. So Hoyvet on the line there, so very close on the way through, but it looks to me like that is going to be Hoyvet out of the competition with Esther Brecky after that initial tangle on that turn, really just causing problems for the race. So Hoyvet going out, Brecky going out. And that means that we are going to find that very, very interesting indeed as we go through. So here in Paris, the very first of our elimination races already done and dusted. 2 riders eliminated in our quarterfinals. Now the riders line up tight on that line. Second from the left, Marcela Lima Matos, and third from the left, that is Madison Borelli, the riders to watch. Do not discount Imber or Cravagna. Both those riders could challenge here, but Massos has the most to lose here if she doesn't get a good start. So the Brazilian rider is pushing, but she hasn't got the whole shot. She hasn't got that turn as up the step they go. So at the moment, Matos currently being pushed into third position as they weave their way up from the side of the Warsaw Fountains at the side of the lakeside, going up on to this climb, making their way up this climb. They're going to be making their way round onto the top of the gardens. Here they go, this long drag here as they sprint up here, and at the moment the race being led out, and Margot Borelli has got this. So at the moment, Borelli with that slight gap at the moment. Imber, Cravagna and Matos are the riders who are left fighting, scrambling for that second position, but Matos is in the position to pass. Nice wide line taken there. She doesn't go up the steps, but it costs her time and then gets Bolt on the way through. And is that a tactical error that is going to cost Matos a top spot in the series overall? Because that is going to be very telling indeed. So Matos, who was right up there on points, now right down at the back, because Matos sitting in third place could have challenged for a second place spot with a good result here today. She needed to maximize those points. She's still in the hunt here as she comes down and in, and you can just see as they come through this chicane, they are still very close. Now, can they get back in touch? And I think Matos got a problem with that bike because she's not in touch here, and this is going to tell a big slide there. These steps, if you don't hit them square, the front wheel slides out, and that's exactly what happened there. You've got to hit them absolutely at 90 degrees, or you're going to find that front wheel slides. The back wheel is going to do the same in these slippery conditions, and this is going to be a real turn-up for the books here today, because we are going to see a Matos, one of the hot favourites, eliminated out. Margot Borelli is going to go through immediately behind her. The 2 riders come through very, very quickly indeed, but it's Imber and Cravagna who go through in second and third place, with Imber, the rider to qualify there, and it looks like Marcela Lima Matos out of the running here. That is going to be very, very disappointing for Matos of Brazil and all those Brazilian fans that were cheering her on at the start of the year. So, real interesting results already here today, and we're seeing a number of interesting choices online telling for these riders. You can see our next heats are all lined up. This, of course, containing Mariska Strauss, who really has come into her own, coming and racing. She's trying to cut across to the front, and she's got the whole shot. She comes into that right-hand turn, pops the wheel up immediately behind. You can see that Naomi Garnier, the rider who took second in the time trial, right in touch, but Mikkel and Kuiper also in the mix. But I think Elodie Kuiper at the moment in fourth position could well struggle to come through at this stage as we take a look down this avenue of trees, looking down towards the Tour Eiffel, just taking that right-hand turn. Though it's Strauss leading them out, Garnier right on her heels here. And I think Elodie Kuiper really starting to struggle. Had a very busy week work-wise and been involved in a lot of bike races, and I think that's cost Kuiper a dear here as they come in and through, and it really means now that Agatha Mikkel is the only rider who could challenge the front two here, but Kuiper's trying to push back. So can Elodie Kuiper get back in touch? I think she's going to struggle at the moment because the leaders are coming to drop down, and in the heart of Paris, these crowds watching the riders, the best riders in the world here at XE, the Eliminator format, as we see these riders descend down and in, with Strauss leading them off and leaving Elodie Kuiper in their dirt at the moment. It's certainly not dusty, that's for sure, because it's very damp here today. Now here we go, Kuiper at the back between her and Strauss, the two riders, and this is where we saw that slip before. The riders going at it, not head on, but managing to keep the balance and keep the grip, and it's going to be really key to make sure that they've got some grip and some power now for this final sprint. It's a long run in here, and it's Strauss who's leading them out. Garnier is wanted to make sure she's got that second spot. Strauss out the saddle all the way to the line there, so Strauss going to go through. It's going to be Garnier going through with her, which is on form, but it will be Mikkel. I guess Mikkel, who is eliminated along with Elodie Kuiper here today. So the Dutch rider and the French one eliminated out. On to our next quarterfinal, and this means that we are now going to see Colleen Clojot, Madison Boissier, Agnes Abrahamson and Amund van Diest. The fastest qualifier was Clojot with the number 3 plate on there, and you can just see these riders already are primed and ready to go. Watch out for Boissier, Madison having a very quick start. Will she be able to get off the line fast enough though? Now Bramerson, very quick rider, but has she got the power to answer them? Van Diest on the right hand side has to take a look across, and currently having to slot in behind the riders in front. As you can see, the French champion taking that right hand turn at the moment, leading the race out at the moment. So it is Colleen Clojot leading it from Boissier, from Bramerson, and then from Van Diest as they go into this technical climb. And it's just enough to really break up the riders that go up on to the top section, up from the lower section of the Trocadero, goes up in towards the higher section here as the riders make their way through the almost 10,000 meters squared of green space here, playing host to round number 9 here in the heart of Paris, with the views across the Seine over the Pont de l'Ena and the Eiffel Tower in the background. These riders at the moment, no time for sightseeing as they come up because they're chasing. So a rider who at the moment seems to have a couple of extra gears on anybody else. She's down at the bottom of the steps, which are going to be greasy and slippery in these conditions long before the rest of the riders are even approaching them. And this is a big statement here. She's not going to need to expend too much energy. She needs to go fast enough to clear the jumps. She needs to go smooth enough through to keep grip. And she's got to balance all that with the fact that she's going to be racing again and again if she gets in and through to our finals. So here it is round number 5 of the mountain bike XE Eliminator World Cup. 2 riders through. Our first rider through looks clear at the front, that's Clojot. But this battle for second place is going to come down to that final sprint, I think, here. Just a move up on the side there. And you can just see they are swapping places, getting a good position for the first turn instead of a bad position for the second turn. It's all about this sprint for second place. As they're coming into the line, it's going to be ever so close here. And I think it is going to come down to that final run into the line. You can see our riders banging the bars in disgust. Boissier is out, Van Diest is out, and it's going to be Abrahamson who is going through. Now, Agnes Abrahamson, a rider who is currently sitting in 11th place in the series, coming in here, really has been the rider that has benefited the most from that, and the big loser in there, that is Marcela Lima Matos, who has been eliminated out. So Tormena de Vries, Borrelli, Imbert, Strauss, Garnier, Clojot and Abrahamson all going in and through. And that is going to give us a very interesting run as we go on from here. Boissier qualified in 6th place, being muscled out of the running there in that competition. So 2 riders going through in each of our quarterfinals into our semi-finals. We'll be seeing those shortly. Before that, we have got our men's competition coming up. And it is a very, very wet day in Paris. Really test these riders. Good job they're made of tough stuff, and so with the bikes, because they're going to need it today here in Paris. So We are moving on to our men's. Now, the men's time trial really did set the standings. We've had the 8th finals in between our time trial results, where Schwarzenberg was the fastest rider. And of the big names, Edwin Lind was the rider who really didn't get on very well with the 8th finals, because Edwin Lind, who qualified in 16th place, was knocked out, and Clement Cousin from France, who was 17th in the qualifying, but only by 0.01 of a second to Lind, he took him out and put him into elimination. And that means that Edwin Lind is not going to score points here today, and that is going to be a big shame for him, because he is sitting in 7th place in the series and could have moved up. So our first quarter-final, headed by the fastest seed Schwarzenberger with the #1 plate, Tito Perrin-Gagné, the French champion in Heat 2, all French Heat 3, and then a real mix for Heat 4. Let's see who is going to provide us with the best manoeuvres as they go in and around those turns. The world champion, you saw him in the preview, Simon Gegenheimer. Well, the moustache is going to be a little bit soggy today, no matter how much wax he's put on it, because it is exceptionally wet out there. But they've got a job to do, and the world champion, very experienced at doing that. I'm going to watch to see who is going to take this out as they come through. Going to be really interesting to see who can handle these conditions. So Schwarzenberger, Demonjon, Gegenheimer and Cousin. Schwarzenberger on the left of your screen, Demonjon second in. A rider who rode a lot of the series last year. Not so many this year. Let's see just how rusty he is. Oh, let's see if his paint is as fresh as that on the Eiffel Tower here today. So here we go. Riders are primed and ready. The whistle goes. Now the fast start essential. We've seen that, but it's a long run into that right-hand turn. Gegenheimer, though, takes that inside line and then forces the rest around him. And that tight inner line is very hard, because if you get it wrong, you clatter into that wall, into the capping stone there. And that has cost some serious time here. I think it's Demonjon and Schwarzenberger who really lost out there, because Gegenheimer has got the kick off from the start, and the world champion is making this look very easy indeed up at the front of the race. He knew how important getting that start was, because of that pinch point coming around those zigzag turns going up, taking the wide line, what is known as the B line, that Marcelo Lima Matos took, but able to do so. It's the safer line, it's the smoother line. He had the time to spare. It's cost him a little bit of his gap. However, at the moment, he can afford to do so. So at the moment, those gaps continue to open. Clement Cousin just really in trouble, I think, if he wants to move up here, because right on the heels it is Kylian Demonjon, who has got the back wheel of Simon Gegenheimer, and it could well be a big surprise here, because the man in 3rd place in the series, Quentin Schwarzenberger, he is sat in 3rd. No, he's not. He's just trying to make a move up on the inside, and again, nice move. He steps up onto the wall and pops the bike up. There's nothing in the rules to say you can't do that. And look at this, guys going straight down. They're not taking the steps. They've just done the straight drop off. That is about 1.25 meters high, that drop off, and they just went straight off the edge of it. And that move going up the steps is paying off here for Schwarzenberger. You can see how much that means. That was a very smart move. Right foot up on the wall, hiked the bike up, and then jumped onto the top. And you can see the problems here for Cousin. The biker not able to get any drive on his way through here. The chain off the front chainring, and that is what's done the damage there. Wow. I hope that's indicative of what we're going to see for the rest of today. I'm not sure that my nose will stand it. Now the man who is looking to profit here today on home turf, it is Tito Perrin-Gagné, the only person really who I think is likely to challenge Gegenheimer for that overall series. However, don't put money on it, because this is going to be very, very close indeed. So Perrin-Gagné, Huez, Hakin, Lukman and Lariche in there. So it is Gagné on the left, the former world champion, the man is 2nd in the series. You can just see, though, that Huez, Lukman and Lariche are all primed, ready to go. Lukman, one of our really big travelling riders coming across from Singapore, and a rider who we know is going to give absolutely everything is it going to be enough today here in the Jardin Trocadero in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower? So off they go. Who's got that quick start? It should be Perrin Gagne, who's got the power. It looks like he's just about done enough to stay in the front there, but Luckman goes up the inside again, and another tank that shows you just how important getting that prime spot is, particularly as it's only 2 riders through and 2 riders eliminated. It means that battle now is in 2nd and 3rd places here today. So here we go, down below the Eiffel Tower, our riders being led out by the French champion. It is Tetouan Perrin Gagne, the former world champion with those world champion stripes on his sleeve, leading out here, and certainly looks like he's got this down. Now, we're going to see any more shortcuts by the riders on the way through, taking a more technically difficult line there. And it has to be said, if you're at the back, maybe the time is to start taking some of those different moves. Huey's doing that there, taking that wider line, but he's not able to challenge. He can't come up on Lariche, he can't come up on Luckman at the moment, but none of them able to touch Perrin Gagne, who comes down to the top of the terrace here. So he's going to drop down in towards goes over that jump. It's a big old jump, this, and it's about 3.5 to 4 meters wide, that gap in the middle of it. Look at Perrin Gagne keeping low, keeping that body weight down. Luckman already with the foot out there to take that left hand turn to get the bounce, and this is where we're going to see those skills here. Who is going to be able to get this dialed? So taking the right-handed turn here, they come around, they're going to do the drop down. They all come down those steps this time round, and I think this is going to be a clean run in and through for Tetouan Perrin Gagne as he comes in through the line here ahead, with Luckman coming in as well. Now that is going to be really interesting. So Luckman just pipping Perrin Gagne as they came over the line there. I'm not sure the former world champion will be too chuffed about that, but you can't afford to snooze on the way round, because you will indeed lose. And the big loser there, really, Emmanuel Hues. Hues being eliminated out despite qualifying in 5th position. So on to the 3rd of our quarterfinals. Time to draw breath. Belanger in here, as well as Kellyhoven, Auchan and Pichon, who will take this clear. Kellyhoven and Belanger should be the fastest on paper on the qualifying times from left to right, but will that be the case? It certainly looks like they're not going to get this whole shot. They're not going to get the front of the race, taking this right-hand turn here, and I think that has proved costly for a number at the back, because once you get pushed to the back of the race, and you really do get into trouble very, very quickly, and it's really hard to make your way back up and to get yourself back in the mix. So at the moment, the race being led out, and that is Antoine Auchan, who's leading them through. He's got Belanger behind. Belanger taking the 2nd position, the 2nd number plate in that time trial that set the riders in their seeded runs. And again, that tight inside line, quick, but you can carry a lot of pace coming around the outside and carry that on to the corner, but it's not affected positions as they come over the top here. So dropping down these steps, and still a number of riders just pedaling down, and just the guys at the back under pressure, not something you would normally do, but if you are under pressure and you want to qualify, you've got to keep on pushing even where it's really risky. So at the moment, leading them out, Belanger has just made that move over the top. They're going on to the front, but is this just a case of Auchan just playing it careful as he goes into this next section now on to that step up at the moment? It's going to be renamed, I think, the Schwarzenberger steps after that move by Schwarzenberger, pushing himself up on to the top there as they come in and through. And I don't think that Antoine Auchan and Hugo Belanger quite expected it to turn out this way, but it is Belanger who comes through. He had the power and the pace. A little bit of showboating could have cost Auchan there as Kellyhoven closed down on him as they came through. But I think that really going to form there on the way through. So one more of our quarter-finals to go. This with Felix Laswin, Jerome Van Eyck. We've got Clemency and Bitterbeer in as well. The question will be, will Jerome Van Eyck be able to take this away from Klasman on the fast start? Van Eyck was a really fast starter. He has ridden very, very strongly. We've seen him win these events and challenge the world champion time and time again. He's currently in 2nd position at the moment. And you can just see in that Netherlands jersey, Champs jersey, just taking the right hand turn, still chasing though, and the left chasing the fast start, Felix Klausmann. And this could be the course that Felix Klausmann finds suits his very quick start from the line. He was notoriously always our fastest starter, but then he couldn't make it stick, particularly when we had, of course, if it was say 2 laps or if there was a long overtaking straight here. It's very key in this race to take prime spot on the way round and then not let it go. Now Van Eck takes a tighter inside line there. It costs him some time, and at the moment it is going to be Jakob Belanger, the European champion, who's been deposited down into 4th place here. I don't think the Slovenian is going to be able to challenge from 4th position at this stage. It's just not space, the room to overtake. It would take something exceedingly special now in the dry. That may well be somebody going over the jump and trying to pass on a jump. It could be passing on a different line and pushing the limits of grip, but because the grip is so limited, these riders really can't push as hard because they will end up cuddling that floor, hitting the steps, sliding off into the barriers and the spectators. That's definitely not what we want to happen, because we want them to stay rubber side down all the way to the line. At the moment, these guys are looking like they've got that dialed, but it is going to be a very clear run in here. Klausmann's going to go through. It's going to be Van Eck immediately behind him, I think. Here, I don't want to curse this by giving the results quite until they come in, and through a big push by the European champion, sees him going to 3rd place. It is going to be Klausmann and Van Eck who go through, and that is going to be very, very telling indeed as we move on from here. So, wow, our quarterfinals done. Gegenheimer, Schwarzenberger, Belanger, Auchamp, Bin Luckman, Perrin Gagné, Klausmann and Van Eck through from our quarterfinals into our semi-finals. So this is going to make things very interesting as we move on from here. We've got our semi-finals coming up first for our women, then it will be our men's semi-finals, and that is going to be very interesting as we run through. So at the moment, Simon Gegenhauer quickly in out of the rain, keeping an eye on his watch on the timing as he goes in and through. So you just see very smiling Simon there, and immediately behind him he's got Tito and Perrin Gagné, the 2 riders racing it out there, always readily able to go push against each other here, and I think that's going to be the case as we move onwards. So just coming up to half an hour of racing in our finals so far from our quarterfinals in, and already we've seen some very fast action. Now our semi-finals, the first semi-final for the women is going to be Gaia Tormena, Didi De Vries, and Margot Borrelli and Alice Imbert. Then it's going to be Naomi Gagné, Colleen Clouzot, Mariska Strauss and Agnes Bramason in the second of our semi-finals. Now the top 2 riders will go through to the final. The 2 eliminated riders will go into a minor final to decide the positions from 5th to 8th place here today. So our riders just about having to get warmed up again after the rain to come back out again, absolutely soaking out there, and not enough time really to get changed in between the 2. Now the world champion Gaia Tormena poised, ready to go. She's the rider that we know has got the pace come off from the gun quick. They're ready to go. Who is going to take this out? They're poised and ready. The Commissaire team holding these riders for some time at the moment, so let's see when these riders get set free, and we get to see who is going to be able to go, and who is going to be on a no. So the 15-second go board goes across the riders. Good to see a real variety of 15-second board holders over the course of the racing. Great to see one of our youngsters, future racers no doubt, out and doing that here today. So Gaia Tormena on the left of your screens in the white of world champion with those rainbow stripes comes in. But she's got to be thinking about Abu Dhabi when she was in round number 1, leading out the race and slipped and came down, and it was race and competition over for Tormena, and that left her in a real bad way as she came in and through, and that really did cost her. That was when Matos actually was able to beat her. Now she's raced all but one of the rounds here today, has Tormena, and that was the previous round that was in Ladakh up at altitude, and at the moment certainly looks to me like Gaia Tormena has the course dial, takes that wider line. You can see the riders at the front not taking that risky line. The riders a little bit further back, probably with no choice really but to try and push on, take the fastest line no matter what that risk is. Now, if you're not going to make the finals, if it's really obvious you're not going to make that second cut, smart money now. Take it steady, not push on too hard and not risk too much as you come in and through. Tormena will want to have a clean run. She won't want to get hassled by De Vries on the way through those turns on the run down. She wants to be able to get down nice and safely, a slide. Because it's not just, of course, that crash, it's the impact it does on you and your bike for the later races, for races that are coming up. Remember, we've got to move on to the final round over in Winterberg. And then, of course, there's all the rest of the racing. A lot of our riders racing cross, racing on the track over the course of the winter. And that means that they can't afford to hit the floor on the way through. Ever the professional, Tormena keeps it smooth towards the line, takes a look over her shoulder as she sees De Vries. De Vries does exactly the same here. You can see she just wants to push on just to be safe here at the moment. But I think it is going to be the case that Didi De Vries goes through with Gaia Tormena, with Margot Borrelli and Alice Imber, the riders who are going to be eliminated into the minor finals. So they are going to be fighting it out for the positions from 5th down to 8th, so 5th, 6th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then the final will be our top 4 riders. So a quick look here at the pace and the power really of Tormena. Absolutely flying here, strong, powerful, no worries at all out on that course and showing why she's our world champion. Now, Colleen Clojure looked very, very good in the race. Garnier looked incredibly powerful too. The question will be, can these two hold off Mariska Strauss? Strauss, not riding the early season, but she came out to Sarankaya in Turkey. She came out to Palangkaraya in Indonesia, then to Lake Ladakh, and has been absolutely flying. She looks super relaxed at the moment. Very experienced rider. Had the pleasure of meeting Mariska in a number of races around the world, and always smiling, always very happy rider. But she has got a real challenge here. Remember, Naomi Garnier coming in 2nd in the time trial, Clojure coming in 3rd, Strauss in 7th, and Agnes Abrahamson in the 11th position. The question will be who is going to take it out from here, from this start line here today. The whistle goes and away go the riders, and this is about who has that big push in. We've seen so often it's almost impossible to take the lead once they've lost it on that first corner, and it looks like that turn suiting the French champion at the moment. So Clojure leading out, Garnier in 2nd place, Strauss in 3rd place. 4th place is going to be Abrahamson just going up on that right-hand turn at the moment. And is that a case of Ali Ejecta Est, or the die is cast here today? Because I suspect that we're not going to see the Clojure, who is on the front and continuing to pull away. And I'm really looking forward to seeing if she can meet Gaia Tormena in the finals, because they were very close on the time trial. They're separated by 1.87 of a second, and you just see that technique up those steps absolutely faultless. But Clojure coming around that turn, picked the right line for her, behind under pressure. Garnier not doing the same thing. Strauss right on her heels, and she'll know exactly who it is, the twists and turns of this course, meaning the riders can see exactly what's happening. So at the moment, it is Colleen Clojure with that gap, and really is opening that up. Takes a little bit more air movement than needed on that run across. The rest of the riders just letting the bike drop down, and I think landing actually on the top of that step rather than on the down face with Strauss. But remember, of course, it is incredibly slippy out there, and a lot of the riders will be choosing discretion over valour as they come around here in the French capital. So the battle really is this 2nd and 3rd place. Remember, only the top 2 go through to the main final. The rest are going to be left fighting it out for those minor positions. Look over the shoulder on Clojure, look behind for the rider in 2nd place. That's Naomi Garnier. And you can just see Strauss is going to push all the way to the line away from the winner. Colleen Clojure coming in and through. Eliminated out, though, is going to be Mariska Strauss as she finishes behind Naomi Garnier. And you can just see Agnes Abrahamson eliminated down into that minor final here today. So our women's semi-finals are complete. And you can see just how important this start is. Strauss really tried to push there, but she didn't have the power to match the pace of Colleen Clouseau, the French champion, looking absolutely unbeatable on here. But we've said that before about the world champion, the current world champion, that is, of course, Gaia Tormena. But if a rider's going to beat it, it could well be Colleen Clouseau. You can see those rainbow stripes on the shorts there. She's a fast rider. She's a rider with a proven pedigree. And the question will be here in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower, can she match it? So now, Gaia Tormena, Didier Vries, Colleen Clouseau, and Naomi Garnier going through two French women, one of our Netherlands, Dutch competitors, and of course our Italian world champion making it in and through to the finals. The rest will be back in our minor finals. So, men's semi-finals coming up. This should be explosive. Number one, first of our semi-finals, Quinten Schwarzenberger, Titouan Perrin-Gagné, Simon Gegenheimer, and Riyad Hakim bin Lukman. Second of our semi-finals, Hugo Belanger, Felix Klausman, Jerome Van Eck, and Antoine Auchamp. Now, bin Lukman is one of those riders who is improving when we see him. Has he got the power and the pace to beat Simon Gegenheimer? It might make it be a mistake from the world champion, who's being pushed by the former world champion and, of course, the French champion here. And don't discount this man, one of the smartest and bravest, as well as potentially aggressive riders in the race circuit. Quinten Schwarzenberger with that masterful move to push himself up and make the place and get into the finals. And we're going to see that again here. I suspect that he will not give away anything on the run through. The whistle goes. Who's got that pace? Who's got the kick out off from the line here? Now, Perrin-Gagné comes up the inside. Lukman goes on the outside. Gegenheimer is going to get caught by that wall. He puts his shoulder into Lukman. It doesn't take him anyway. And Perrin-Gagné has got the lead, and he's going to start to pull it clear here, I suspect, from Lukman as they come around this turn. Now, we're just taking a drop down here. And you can just see it's going to be Perrin-Gagné who's got the lead, but this is the battle behind. Gegenheimer in danger of being eliminated out, and now the world champion is under pressure behind here. Perrin-Gagné has got this, I think, clear to get him into the final. He can be a bit more relaxed. Lukman gets a little bit of a gap there on the world champion. The world champion cannot relax because behind him is Schwarzenberger, who made that move up those steps last time round. So the three riders fighting for one remaining place after Perrin-Gagné are going to come tight now. Schwarzenberger down the inside. We just saw him diving for the inside. Will he appear first out of that corner? He doesn't. I think he's managed to make a move there on Gegenheimer. Are they going to go for it on the jump? They're not. It's very tight indeed. And Lukman must know the pressure is coming on behind him. So Perrin-Gagné goes in and through, but behind it, Schwarzenberger versus Lukman versus Gegenheimer. And this is going to be tight. Lukman getting pressured here. Schwarzenberger taking the outside, can't make that move. Has he got the power? He goes on the inside. I think he's going to have the line coming down the steps, and this could see the world champion, the man who was looking to win the title this time round in the World Cup, eliminated out. He didn't have the pace and power. The man who's looking most likely, it is Titouan Perrin-Gagné, who will go through to our finals. And the world champion, Simon Gegenheimer, the man who came here leading the series, is relegated down to the minor finals here today. That is not what he wanted to happen. He came here looking for a great result, and this is going to be disappointing. Well, quickly puts on board some more sugar, another gel down there. I don't think he said anything at all to the crew there. And very quickly heading out, the world champion taken out from the finals. Well, Perrin-Gagné, Quinten Schwarzenberger going through. Who will be joining? Will it be Auchamp, Jerome Van Eck, Felix Klausman, who's on your screens now, or will it be Hugo Belanger, who is the rider in the pink at the moment? Will he be in the pink when we get to the other end? He was absolutely on fire in the 8th final stand he's the second fastest qualifier. He's up against our fastest starter tradition in Klausman, but Van Eck can never be discounted. And Auchamp put in a great ride, pushed himself right up into the mix. Klausman with the most to lose. He's the highest on the standings out of these riders, but this is about that kick into the line. And Klausman, I think, is going to try and carry the pace and put them off with a little bit of a wiggle on the bike there. Just pushes the bars side to side, just to make them think a little bit, just to put a little bit of hesitation into the riders behind. And it could well be that Van Eck now, who's in the last place coming up this climb, is going to be the rider who's going to be putting off the riders in front. That's Auchan, because Belanger on the heels here of Klausman. They are the riders in second and first place respectively, have got a gap, and look how quickly that has opened up. So that gap has opened, and are these two riders now going to be smart? Are they going to look at each other and think, right, let's work together here, there's no point in challenging each other and taking each other out, and let's let the other two fight it. Van Eck goes up the inside, he tries it again. It didn't work the first time round for him, it didn't work that time round. And a little bit of desperation, I think, and a little bit ring rusty there, just coming in to the racing for Jerome Van Eck, who I think maybe paying the price for not having ridden as many rounds as some of the rest of the riders coming in here. So at the moment, leading them down, this is going to be Hugo Belanger. He has the gap. Well, this man is not just going to get the pace, he's going to get the cream on the way through here, because he's absolutely on fire, and he's going to be up against a man in that finalist countryman, the French champion. That is going to be Tito and Perrin Gagne, because he's coming to the line here. Hugo Belanger looking very smooth indeed. Behind him, Felix Klausman has the gap. He should be secure in second place. He takes a long look behind him. He sees he needs to push just that little bit more to be sure. And there is no relaxing there. Antoine Auchan really pushed to try and eliminate him out, but it wasn't going to be the case. And it's Auchan who will be in our minor final, along with Jerome Van Eck. Good to see Jerome back and racing, but not to be his day today. He'll be in the minor final, and that is going to keep things very, very close up at the top. Let's watch that back. It was this start by Klausman that really dragged them clear. He even had time to look over his shoulder, but Belanger had the pace to come in and around him, and that was very, very telling indeed, because Belanger has got the pace and speed to open up a huge gap on the rest of the competition. The question will be, can he do that to Perrin Gagne? Perrin Gagne will want maximum points. Remember, as they came in here, they are looking at potentially being tied on points. There's next to nothing between them. The maximum points that they can get, in theory, will put Gegenheimer in front, but he's not going to score maximum points. It could well be Tito and Perrin Gagne who's going to come out, but they all gave away points to Belanger, who was coming through. He absolutely is flowing through, and in terms of qualifying, Belanger and Trotzenberger Klausman have taken points away from Perrin Gagne. Going to be really interesting with those overall series standings, particularly running into our last round. Well, this is how we're going to decide who's going to get what, because of course it is our small finals and minor finals first. That's for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th places, and then it will be our finals. It'll be our women first in both the small finals and the main finals, followed by the men's races. So we will see who is going to take our women's 5th to 8th, then our men's 5th to 8th, then it will be our top 4 riders in the women's, then men's competition. Wow, great racing, very, very wet conditions, and the skill of these riders to keep it rubber side down, to keep it held up there, really, really impressive indeed as they go through. So the minor final here today. We have Alice in, but we've got Margot Borrelli. We have, of course, got Agnes Abrahamson and Mariska Strauss. They are our riders in this race. The question is going to be for me, can Strauss get maximum points here? She could move up through those standings quite substantially in the last 2 rounds here. She's currently in 6th position, and of the riders that are with her, the only riders who have gone in front of her, got points in potentially higher, are going to be Tormain and De Vries, so she should move through those standings nicely. So the 15 seconds to go, board carried across in front of our riders, and this is about that kick out from the start line. We know it's about that first corner. Who's got that pace and power? Repeated sprint after sprint after sprint. Here we go. Who's going to have the turn in? Who's going to be able to get that right hand turn? Strauss is on the inside. She can't carry the place here. through and in, so she just took quickly, but she wasn't able to hold it into the corner there. And as you can see coming out from the corner, it was all about carrying pace in a tight line and nobody tangling with the wall that time around. It's going to be very interesting to see. There is no elimination in this. This is purely for the point. So at the moment, leading them up there, Agnes Abrahamson leading the race out. Mariska Strauss in second position in this race. And at the moment, it looks to me like Abrahamson is going to move a little bit higher in the standings, currently 11th position coming into this round. But all these riders know that this is for points. This is to move them up in the standings. This is to give them a better ranking worldwide to go onto the license, get those points, and to move up through their worth as professionals, all down to what they can perform in the races. It doesn't matter what your social media skills are, your legs have got to be able to do the talking as well as being able to hit the buttons on the social media feeds, and these riders certainly can do that. At the moment, though, our two leaders in this race are pulling it clear. Remember, they are the riders who are currently in 5th and 6th places, potentially in the standings as they come through at the end of the race. When that's added to the series standings, that's going to give us a mistake by Strauss there. You can see her just sliding along there. That was very Danny McCaskill on a tree-esque there, just going on, jumping, sliding it sideways. Managed to hold it, but she didn't go down. But it has cost her at least one place. Can she recover from that? It's going to be a sprint behind her. So as they come in and through the line there, a win for Abrahamson by some margin. And then it is going to be a fight for position, and it is down to that finishing sprint in there with Margot Borrelli ahead of Alice Imber, and then Mariska Strauss, who I think must have had her heart in her mouth as she came in and along the top of that section there. She went across the step top, she just went flying sideways. Now you can see Abrahamson with that very, very fast start, looking incredibly good as she came through here. She had it under control, and it was Strauss really who wanted those points, who kept on pushing maybe a little bit more than she should. And you can just see through here Abrahamson looking very comfortable indeed, just weaving away through. Strauss just that little bit lower, and this is where that move was made as Strauss recovered from that error going and sliding along the step top. It took the edge off that sprint, and it was a very clean win in the minor final there going through. So men's minor final next. This is the battle, and it is going to be Riyad Hakim Lukman. Is Ben Lukman going to be able to do it this time around? A very disappointed man there in the shape of Auchan. Simon Gegenheimer, the world champion. The most he can take away from this, the best position in terms of the elimination part of this, is 5th. And Jerome Van Eck, well, there was a reason we always loved him, is we saw him down the start line with the Eiffel Tower behind him. Still got the time to wave at the cameras and cool as a cucumber coming into this, but he's not a man you want to mess with. He's definitely fire as we come through. Now, Ben Lukman, Auchan, Gegenheimer and Van Eck. Now, surely Gegenheimer is going to want this so much. I don't think he's got an answer at the moment, or has he, to the power and the pace of Van Eck, and it means Gegenheimer goes wide. He's tangling with Lukman, the man who he was fighting with in the previous race, and this time around it's Gegenheimer who does the move there on Lukman, and Lukman coming off second best that time around. So here we go. In the shadow of the Eiffel Tower, our riders come away for it. This is their last time here racing today in this minor final before we move on to our men's finals and women's finals. And at the moment, it is Gegenheimer up against Jerome Van Eck. It's like they're racing not all that long ago now. Gegenheimer takes the inside line. I think it's the first time we've seen him. And Van Eck takes the outside line. Both riders taking a different line to normal. Now Gegenheimer goes over the top. Van Eck takes a look behind him. And you can just see, I can imagine these two are thinking, not again. We've seen them battling it out for the final line time and time again in the past. Who's going to take it this time round? It really is going to be all about who wants to, and surely that's Gegenheimer. He needs those points. He needs to salvage something. He needs to be in the best position possible coming into Winterberg, our final round when it comes up. And that is going to be very thrilling indeed, because it's going to be so close up between Titouan Perengagné and Simon Gegenheimer for the series win. The world champion would dearly love to have the World Cup win and the World Championship straight off the edge. There's no messing about there as they come down, and this is how much he wants it. He's sprinting all the way to the line. He's not going to give up at all here. Did he save enough power? He said he needed to as he came in to the start of the show. He does. He comes in ahead of Jeroen van Eck. So Gegenheimer's going to take your 5th place overall. It'll be 6th for Van Eck, 7th for Ben Luckman, and 8th place is going to go to Antoine Auchamp here. The Frenchman comes in 8th position in the eliminator phase of the competition. So that's our minor finals done. We're going to be moving on to the main finals as we just see a little look back at just how that race was won. You can see that Gegenheimer very quickly off from the mark there. Van Eck had the lead, but Gegenheimer's move around on the inside as they came up around the top put him in the prime spot going into that big gap jump and then up on to the steps. Both riders taking the much riskier option of going straight off the edge of the terrace. However, it was Gegenheimer with the pace to go over the line. Van Eck immediately behind. Then Luckman and Auchamp. Luckman with the pace to go and stay clear of Auchamp behind him. And here in the shadow of the 324 metre, well over 1,000 foot high Eiffel Tower here today. And all 300 metres of the tower looking down on the racing here in the gardens just across the Seine over the Pont de Lena in the Trocadero Gardens, the Jardin de Trocadero, and the race alongside the Warsaw Fountains here today. And the fireworks, though, rather than water cannons playing today, although I think if you're stuck behind another rider, it's like having a water cannon in your face. The question will be, will it be De Vries? Will it be Closure? Will it be a Garnier? Will it be a Tormena? This is going to be really interesting today. I can't wait to see who has the pace and the power, who has the speed from the line. It should be Tormena's, but she's up against Garnier and Closure, who have looked so impressive. Closure, for me, the rider who should be the one to challenge. Will she be able to do it? Here we go. So the whistle goes and away they go, and Tormena knows that she needs this. The pressure is coming on to her left, or right on the screen here, and they're going to come in almost side by side now. Tormena holds first place, coming in and through. De Vries in 4th place, sandwiched in between the two French riders, Closure and Garnier, as they come in through here. But you could just see that tangle there. It really does take its toll on the riders. Now Tormena could wrap the series up here with this win. She now knows that if she can finish this, Fromberger's not here today, she should go clear. She needed 75 points out of today. 60 points will come with the win in the Eliminator. Now, she also took the win in the time trial. That gave her 30 points. That'll be 90. So if she takes this, she will take away the series title with 1 round to go. And she's looking good at the moment on the front. The chase is on from World Champ behind her. And you can just see these riders, I think, pretty resigned to the fact that Guy Tormena has got the beating of them here today. She's looked so good over the last couple of seasons. A regular enduro rider, a rider who rides for everything from adverts for Lamborghinis right the way through to riding on the track in the team. But she's currently enjoying riding a mountain bike. Definitely got the skills to be able to ride this, but there is still obstacles in her way. Up the steps she goes, back wheel slides a little bit there, but quickly rectifies that. Didn't lose too much time, and behind these riders, I think, really feeling the effects of that concentration and focus of holding the bike together. But as they come down, Didier Rees will be the last rider down on to the straight. The rider coming into the finish. She's going to win here today. She wins the series overall. It is the world champion from Italy. It is Gaia Tormena, pushed all the way to the line by Colleen Closure, and Closure takes 2nd place with Garnier in 3rd, and Didier de Vries taking that 4th place position. That did go to the form book somewhat, with Gaia Tormena taking the top spot, but great to see that on home turf, Colleen Closure and Naomi Garnier are also going to be up on the podium. Let's watch that again. You could see here that that fight really did come down to Closure. Really pushed on to try and come into this first corner. She couldn't, though, match the pace of Tormena, who held the line round there, holding on to that position, to the pace, carrying the speed round, and it opens gap. Each time you go in that corner in optimum spot, you can open a little bit more of a gap. Carries a lot of pace, flies down onto the descent ramp, the off ramp, round that turn and back up on to the top there behind. No problems at all for Clojure, but you can see the world champion knew what she was doing. She knew where she needed to be. She knew what she had to do. It's been an incredible season, and I think as it is confirmed, as Gaia Tormain are taking top spot from Clojure, Garnier and De Vries. Great riding. Let's see what she has to say. I think she's just down by our podium, so we're ready to hear from Gaia Tormain now, and hopefully she's managed to get her breath back. So great to hear from Gaia Tormain, who's down on that line, and you can just see that as she came in and through the line, putting in a great ride there, chased all the way to the line by the French champion coming in and through, and confirmed there. That gap at the end, 1.66 seconds, 5.4 seconds behind was Naomi Gardner, and then it was Didi De Vries. We're going to see our top three riders up on that podium, and going to be ready for our flowers. So it's going to be our top of three riders on that podium, and that will get that up and roll. So here in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower, under the watchful eye, I'm sure, of Gustav Eiffel, we see a great third place here today by Naomi Garnier. A top spot denied from her, but a podium all the same. Clojure fighting all the way to the line up against the current world champion, who wrapped up the whole of the series here. So you can see the world champions jerseys and stripes are proudly displayed there by Gaia Tormain, your race winner here at round number 9 of the UCI MTB Eliminator World Cup. So a great top three riders, and great to see just how fast they were racing up against everybody else. And the standings are confirmed with 90 points available as a maximum win in any round. If you take the time trial and the overall, Gaia Tormain cannot be touched at the top. Fromberger currently clear and confirmed into a second place position as well, with Didi De Vries looking to take away a podium. Now let's see what happens in the men's race. Will we see a dominant performance here, or are we going to see a real battle between these riders? Remember, the world champion is out. We have on the side, we have got Schwarzenberger. We saw Klausman. We're now on with Belanger. So Belanger is there, and then of course don't discount the rider Quentin Schwarzenberger. He is the rider who really can motor on here. So here we go into the last race of round number 5. Let's get this race underway, and let's see who's going to round this off here. Schwarzenberger, Belanger, Klausman and Perrin Garnier. Time for our riders to get it underway to head off down this straight. The final race of the day, all set and ready to go. Who will take away the win here today? Will Perrin Garnier on the right of your screen in those French national champs jerseys take the lead off the top spot? Can he take it away going into the last round? There's less than 15 seconds to go. Perrin Garnier, the highest ranked rider, with Schwarzenberger on the other side of the grid from him. up in the battle. He's in third. Klassman's in fourth place in the series overall coming in here. So they're missing the current leader from this battle. His place taken by Belanger, and this is going to be close. Look at that fight round here. Perrin Gagne quickly into the lead. He got that corner once again. Klassman deprived despite his fast start here today as they come around this left, right, left turn here. And as we swing down to our riders, you can just see that lead. Well, it's by Perrin Gagne, but Klassman is not giving it to him here. He's looking to try and take this away. Remember, there's a little subplot here because Klassman is the countryman of Gegenheimer, and whilst they might battle against each other, I'm sure Klassman will want to be pushing him, but he's got to be attentive because I saw Schwarzenberger there put a move on him. A look behind from Klassman. Schwarzenberger's not made that stick, and Belanger at the moment, well, it's certainly looking like his dough isn't rising today. It's going to be all damp and squidgy for him because he's right at the back of the fourth place. And Perrin Gagne, he's leading this out now. Is anybody going to be brave? Can anybody make a move coming in? Look at Schwarzenberger. He always takes an alternative line. He's always looking for the opportunity to put a move in here. Perrin Gagne, he's low like he's on a time trial there, just crouched low over the bars, really keeping that pace high without putting the effort in. Now, can they be cleaned up here? Schwarzenberger this time not being able to make that stick. And are we going to see a move? We are. Schwarzenberger takes a place, jumping off the edge of the terrace there. He landed heavily, though, and I don't think it's going to pay off. The sprint's on, though. This is for the race win. Perrin Gagne wants it. Klassman wants it. Klassman has the power. It's Klassman who takes it from Perrin Gagne. Then it's going to be Belanger, and it's going to be Schwarzenberger who comes in behind him here. What a race here today as the rain continues to fall in Paris. It hasn't dampened down the fireworks there because Klassman, with that final sprint, he finished at 0.17 ahead. Behind him was Belanger at 0.92 of a second. And that really is going to be interesting as we come in to the last round because Perrin Gagne was not able to take maximum points here today. So here we go, the riders dropping down on straight, taking that right-hand turn. So Perrin Gagne led this out. Klassman, we thought it was over. I didn't think he had the power to come around. He certainly did. He came over the top. Belanger able to ride the steps. He went through cleanly. So the result, Schwarzenberger not able to make the most of that drop down the step. Klassman taking away maximum points, and this is going to have pushed him a lot closer to Perrin Gagne, to Schwarzenberger, and of course to Gegenheimer, who didn't even make the final. And it's going to be really interesting hearing from our riders and watching what they have to say in the coming weeks, because this is going to be a really interesting mix that goes into the finals. So whilst the women's series wrapped up by Gaia Tormain, second place wrapped up, the fight behind for third, fourth and fifth, right the way through those positions, wide open. But the men's is definitely all open to interpretation. That is going to be dependent on what they can do, and the man who really has mixed it up is Felix Klassman. So let's hear from Felix Klassman. Klassman going to be down on the podium. So looks like the water here in Paris from the water cannons adding to the drain, managing to get in to all of the systems down here. Don't forget you can catch up with all of the results. Confirmed at the top of the standings is Felix Klassman. In second place it is Titouan Perrin Gagne. Third place for Hugo Belanger. Quinton Schwarzenberger not going to be on the podium today, not able to make that stick. Behind them, Simon Gegenheimer, the big loser in that, the series leader coming in, and that means at the top of the standings, this will be incredibly close indeed. And our riders, despite all that rain, they'll be up on our podium very shortly. As soon as they are, we're going to cut down to them. But in the meantime, a great view here of Paris that's played host to round number 9. So the shot here of our winners coming up, and here we go. Our top 3 riders, it is third place here today. Hugo Belanger here on home turf in France. On one side of the podium is the French national champion Titouan Perengagné, a second place, losing out into the sprint to the man who had it in his legs at the end. You can see what that means to him. It is the German rider Felix Klausmann. He's quick off the start. Well, he was quick at the end this time. Titouan Perengagné there, I think, ruined what could have been, particularly when we come to the standings. But a great three riders, and I think definitely good to see Felix Klausmann up there. And it sets us up for a great battle at the next and final round, because you can see at the top, Gegenheimer has just held on to his lead. 380 points from 374 points from Perengagné. Schwarzenberger is in touching distance. Remember, it's 90 points for winning the time trial and in the Eliminator total. So 90 points available to take away maximum. That could get him up there. It's not going to be possible for Klausmann to win, but he could still be in that fight for second, third, fourth, fifth place. Let's see who's going to take that out as we move on to our final round. It's certainly been an entertaining day here in Paris, and it really has shown such a mix of varieties across the whole of the series. It's on a day here in Paris where the rain has really mixed up the chances for the current series leader Simon Gegenheimer, where the rain has meant there's very little grip on the pavements, and our cables and are absolutely soaking, including all the crew and our riders. Gaia Tormena has taken away the title with one round left to go in the XCE World Cup. So as the crowd start to head home in Paris, I'll say a massive thank you for joining me here today. Make sure you tune in for the very last round and see what happens as the conclusion of the men's race, and see who can take the spoils in the women's series as well. From me, Matt Payne, from everybody at the UCI XCE Eliminator, we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.